Hi guys, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Alexa, what's the time please?
It's 8:32 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Monday the 31st of January.
And Alexa, what's the weather like?
Right now in Rochester, it's 5 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun. Today's forecast has partly sunny weather, with a high of 8 degrees and a low of 3 degrees.
And Alexa, can you tell me a joke please?
What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea.
Oh my goodness, what do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. It's a funny joke, but I don't like jokes about eyes at the moment. Right guys, so it's a lovely Monday morning. I live by myself. I've got no children to take to school. I'm going to take Max out for a walk in a moment. So last night was quiet. The taxi driver that drove me home drove me around the back. My mum had given me a great big bin bag of my dad's belongings, and the taxi driver helped me put them in the boot of his taxi, which was a white taxi. It drove around the back, and he helped me with one of the bags to the door because it was heavy, and I came in by myself with about 4 heavy bags in, but the lift was near the door, so I put it all in the lift, came upstairs and dragged it in the flat, and I came into the flat by myself. My mum had also given me Dad's whiskey. She wanted me to take Dad's wine. I didn't take it. I took the 3 Barrels whiskey and a can of Guinness, which I'll show you now. I don't drink, by the way, only socially, but she wants me to get rid of my dad's stuff. So my mum asked me to take his 3 Barrels whiskey, brandy, sorry. My father always used to drink brandy. Although he had had a heart attack, he was still drinking alcohol. And she's given me a can of Guinness Draft Stout, which is made in St James Gate, Dublin, Ireland. So my mum gave me that. Also, she gave me more of Dad's mats. Thing is, she's throwing a lot of my dad's stuff in the bin, and she's asking me if I'll take some of it first. So she's getting rid of a lot of my dad's stuff and throwing it away. So I've got some Age Co Maxi Absorb bed pads here. Waterproof bed pads. Donations to Age UK. My dad was having these from Age UK. For incontinence. She gave me my dad's vaccine badge where it said he'd been fully vaccinated. My mum gave me his vaccine badge. I'm finding it very difficult at the moment because every time I take something of my father's, it brings back memories of the funeral and everything concerning it, so it brings it back to the forefront and I get upset. Right? And of course my dad asked for no flowers at his funeral, and I keep seeing flowers everywhere. And I do like flowers myself. I love flowers. I got a bunch from the co-op yesterday. There's a yellow rose here. Oh. When I go up to see my father's, where his ashes were scattered, there's supposed to be a rose planted there as well, which I'm going to go up and see where his ashes have been scattered. So here we've got some flowers that I got from the co-op yesterday, and there's a yellow rose in there, which is beautiful, nice yellow rose and purple flowers. I myself love flowers, I do. Right, so yeah, I spent some time with my mum yesterday. I think she's called me earlier on this morning. I'm going to see what her message is later on. So what I normally do is go through my phone, which isn't a lot at the moment. Alexa, could you put LBC radio on, please?
LBC London from Global Player.
Their medical history, their medical background, and we take into consideration everything: how far they can walk, whether they can get up a flight of stairs, whether they smoke, how heavy they are, if they're overweight, how overweight, if they've been vaccinated, when they had the vaccine, if they haven't been vaccinated, why haven't they had the vaccine. We take a whole lot of factors into account, but the one thing we want to know is how likely they are to survive.
Okay. And how much do you increase your potential for survivability if you've had the vaccine?
Well, I can't comment for everyone. From what I've understood of the data and from what I've seen in our own clinical practice, patients who have had vaccine might get sick, but they don't die. And it is really, really hard watching. And we have treated a lot of patients without the vaccine on our intensive care, and it's really hard to watch because they suffer so much more, and many times they end up having a worse outcome.
And what would you say to people then who still won't have the jab, Craig? They say, I don't think it's safe. I've had it once before. I won't get it again. I'm fit and I play rugby or whatever. What would you say?
I don't know. We see the sick people. I hear reports of people having had bad experiences after the vaccine. In our intensive care unit, I haven't seen anyone come in with complications of the vaccine. I have seen many people coming in with the consequences of not having the vaccine. It seems to me that the vaccine is very low risk, and the risk, albeit slim, of getting severe COVID is quite high. So it's a gamble that people have to take. I've had every vaccine that is offered to me.
Yes.
I would encourage other people to have it, because it seems like the risk is low, and the risks of not having it are potentially quite severe.
You're on the front line. Thank you for the work you're doing, Craig. We'll have more on that in a moment. We're also talking about that National Insurance NI rise. We heard from Lord Bellamoria, who's the chairman of the CBI. He's urging the government not to go ahead with it. Lucy's in Tiverton. Lucy, what can you tell me?
Oh, Nick, you're picking at quite a few sore points this morning, aren't you, for us in the health and social care?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. I mean, on the morning of the national insurance hike, I run a care home in Devon. We employ 43 staff. We look after 23 residents, very clinically vulnerable residents. I'm trying desperately hard to get my staff a decent wage because, we spent all of 2020 clapping for carers and banging saucepans, and they're still not paid very much, and they're still not valued by society. And yet, this morning we wake up hearing that, the same standards that they put on sort of the social care sector. So, you will have to have a vaccine. They're removing that for the NHS. It's one rule for one and one rule for another. And at the end of the day, it's the poorest, most undervalued people that we rely on the most when we're sick that end up getting taxed and sort of into the back here. And I feel very frustrated.
What do you think the impact of all these increases?
Stop. So, pretty much the same for me every day. I take Max out for a walk, come back, I have lunch later on, take him out for a walk again, go for a walk, and then later on take him out for a walk before bed. Okay, there's nothing else I can do. I have tried to change things. People just don't accept me. I feel like I'm an outcast. I probably am. All I get asked for is dirty pictures. When I do get with a bloke, it turns into they just want to use and abuse me and then throw me in the dustbin. And I'm sick of trying, to be honest. It happens every single time I meet somebody. They're either married, they've got a girlfriend, they're just using me, and I'd rather be by myself than be used and abused, and that's just the way it goes. I'll see everybody later.